Ladies and gents, it's very difficult to know what to say about a guy who's consistent and popular and conscientious, like we all know that Ian is. Ian was born at Croxdale in Durham on the 16th of July 1941. That makes him 53 on Wednesday, by the way. That he lived at 68 Samsingham Road at Redcar. That he wrote on the 3rd of September 63 to the West Riding Police to join. And I could have followed it through his career till the 14th of February 94, that's today, which is his last working day. And I could have told you about him having a wife and 2 sons, and during his career, several houses, 5 ranks, and 12 postings, including, just as by way of example, one that struck me at flat 5 at 153 Coalbath Road at Harrogate, which was a county-owned flat, and when he moved in there, it cost £11.17 and sixpence to move the furniture. I could have told you things like that, but I'm not going to do. When he applied to join the West Riding Police, he took his entrance exam at Redcar Police Station, and one Sergeant 284, Arnold Simpson, presided. And Ian was given certain questions, sentences to finish off, etc., etc. And one of them was, don't spoil the ship. Well, you all know that, but Ian changed it and he put, it will spoil itself, you know. Actually, talking of ships, I don't know if anybody saw that programme last night on the Sunday evening television on Noah's Ark. I thought it was quite tremendous. Did you see it, anybody? No. It just worried me a little bit when I think about today's technology, because that Noah's Ark was built by the amateurs, whereas a lot of the ships, like I've lost the line of the joke now. I was going to say the Titanic was built by professionals, but I've blown it. Another one he got was still waters are clear. The question was, what is 30 foot high and covered in cheese and tomato? And he wrote the Leaning Tower of Pizza. And another one that struck me that was on the script was, what is half man and half horse? And of course, it was Buffalo Bill. He's been making things up on paper ever since that, that's for sure. But in fairness, he got 47 out of 80 for his marks. He got 5 on 5 for his maths, and a grade 1 on his matrices. Yeah, intelligent all. I think that fits. Actually, when he was 16, he was given as a present a 15-piece jigsaw, and he sent it off. He wrote off subsequently to the Guinness Book of Records to say that he'd actually completed this in an hour and 32 minutes. And they wrote back and asked what was so wonderful about that, and he said, well, on the box it said 2 to 4 years. But in fairness, Ian furthered himself commendably externally from work. And even as a police, seriously, he went to a lot of evening classes, and he undertook studying in the following subjects: commerce, accounting, and he got the Northern County Certificates in Commercial Studies. He did some work in economics. That'll stagger Dick Taylor, because if you'd seen the state of his overtime. Some other words, very briefly, to see, beginning with I, to see which were suitable for Ian Hall. And I looked at impeccable, impactive, impartial, incisive, innovative, irreplaceable, imperialistic, inimitable, investigative, incomparable, incredible, influential, industrious, inoffensive, but I couldn't really find any that suited Ian. Except inspectorate, that's the only one I could find. I couldn't find any words beginning with I, which say, seriously, thank you for 30 years, very excellent service, industry, application, courage, camaraderie. In my view, the West Yorkshire Police has been a better place for Ian Hall's presence in it for 30 years. He's a man of very pleasant disposition. He has a quiet and gentlemanly manner, who very easily gains acceptance by colleagues of juniors, equals, and senior rank. He is extremely conscientious and industrious, possesses good knowledge of the law and procedures, and is very dedicated towards achieving the objectives within the areas of his responsibility. On his ICC course, Ian wrote of himself on his self-analysis, "I'm somewhat of an introvert by nature. I try hard to show a caring approach at all times, valuing the views of others and creating a climate of trust." How true. I've known Ian for certainly over 25 years, and although we feel we've shared a bit of a couple of laughs upon his departure.
Does this thing work? It does work. Right, now it's my turn. I think you all know that I've done a bit of travelling in my time. I've been to Australia a few times. I've got a brother over there who emigrated 20 years ago. And in fact, on my last visit, when I went to Australia, bear in mind that it's a hell of a size, is Australia. I did a tour of most of the inland of Australia. And I went from Sydney to Canberra, to Adelaide, to Alice Springs, to Ayers Rock. When I got to Ayers Rock, there was an Aborigine sat under Ayers Rock, which is a hell of a size. And he was saying to me, "Aren't you this pommy bastard from Australia, from England?" I said, "Just a minute, cut out the bloody pommy bit." He said, "I've heard about you from Alan Wicker." He said, "Is Tom Miranda still doing retirement speeches in Wakefield?" So when I joined the force, actually, my height was a problem. I mean, in my family, I was tall. My father was 5'7", and all his 7 brothers, and they're all short, and I was tall. Then I went to join Middlesbrough Police, and it was 5'9", the height limit. And of course, I'm 5'8" and 5/8. No, 5/8, more than 5'8" and a half. And of course, so I couldn't join Middlesbrough Police, so I had to join the West Riding, which was only 5'8" and 5'8". And of course, when I joined the task force, well, no one's had to go and see to get some physiotherapy. I joined with, people like Tom Tate was on the task force, Peter Spence, Raymond Evans, and Don Shaw. I got a creak in my bloody neck. So I used to insist to sat down when we spoke. And when I joined in 1964, I mean, we'd been married only 9 months. I said to Grandad, "Well, all right, yes, I've come home from training school, I've been there only for a few weeks, and I brought on my gear, almost very proud of being a policeman. And I went out for a walk with a brother, and I came back in, having a walk on the promenade. And bear in mind, I'd been there 3 weeks. I'd spent 3 weeks polishing the bloody toes of my boots. Now, it's spit and polish, it's like in the police force when you first join, you go to training school. I spent 3 weeks of doing little tiny turns with spit and polish on my boots. And I came home after 3 weeks, walking the promenade, and Glenn and her father are polishing my boots with the brush. 3 weeks' work down the drain. Now just imagine my comments. I felt like Windsor Davis. "Oh dear, what a shame, never mind." I can't have said much more, but anyway, we almost fell out over that. It took me 3 weeks to get my boots back to some kind of order. I went to Harrogate in 1964, and that's where I first went to Roland Smith. I used to walk around Harrogate, and again, weather like tonight, freezing cold. You're walking around with a scarf on, a big cape on, and the sergeant would come to me, he'd be driven with an Austin Westminster, and the window would open almost like a letterbox. I mentioned Bill Hughes the other day, and you push your pocketbook into the car, like it's like a letterbox, and you're sort there freezing to death. And he'd give you a chalk in your pocketbook to show you were in Cambridge Street, Oxford Street, whatever in Harrogate. And then the window would go open. Of course, then you'd open the window again, pass your pocketbook back, and you stood there freezing. Of course, he'd drive away. It's a bit different today, it's a hell of a lot different. And so it should be, really. From Harrogate, I went to Garforth. I thoroughly enjoyed Garforth. And in fact, some friends of me from Garforth today. Alan Clough, for instance, Basil Bruntlett, and others. I met Colin Hirons, Keith Bradford, some of the inspectors who we're currently work with today. I went on the inspectorate with Jack Brewer. Now, of course, we were very popular in the inspectorate. I must mention a comment that was made to Jack and I when we went to Huddersfield by a man called John Doe. He said, "You two, because you're as popular as incontinent trapeze artists." That's exactly what he said, you know, the inspector was not a popular job. From there, I went from the inspector to Chapeltown.
Let's say again.
Working at Chapeltown. I thoroughly enjoyed Chapeltown. And of course,
You've never said
Wakefield. I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Wakefield. What I'd like to do is thank everyone who works with me at Wakefield currently for the full support. I regard myself as a member, just a leader of the team at Wakefield. It's a first-class division. John Binns should be here tonight somewhere. I've seen him earlier. He's taken over an excellent division. Can I thank you all, first of all, for turning out tonight? It's an awful night. This is the weather I had in Russia in October, and I went on holiday to find this weather. This was a warm day in Russia. Thanks so much for coming. Thanks for the presents. Thanks for the support from my wife. Glenda, I mean, you've heard all jokes about Glenda getting up in the morning. Yes, she has. Whatever time of duty I've got up for work, she's got up for me. But let me squash one rumour completely. She does not iron my bootlaces. She certainly brushes my shoes occasionally, irons my trousers, gets me up for work. I mean, when we're at home, you say I'm quite pedantic, I suppose. A bit like Jack Broogley, a bit pedantic. But Glenda isn't. She's a bit untidy at times. And of course, I think why she got up for me so early in the morning is to get bloody rid of me, really. To get me out to work. Anyway, thanks so much, Glenda, for your support over 30 years. I've got two sons here as well, John and David, who both give me obviously support as well. John's in the prison service at Armley, and David's in the police service at Melgarth. Anyway, thanks so much for your wonderful presence. Anyway, all I can say, thanks very much. Thank you. To present these to Glenda as a sign of my appreciation, really. I know it's Valentine's Day, turn around, but I've sent her a card. And these are some flowers, just additional. Okay. Thank you.
Very good. You're going to do something.
I want to say that he's a great guy and we miss him tremendously.